I've been milling my grains and baking bread for over a decade. I'm a homeschool, stay-at-home mama to a lot of kids who are constantly eating. I've also been a homesteader for a decade. I cook from scratch pretty much every single day, multiple meals a day. I run this YouTube channel. So one of my favorite go-to appliances that I use here in my kitchen that really help me as a busy mom. Well, in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with y'all my favorite, my ride or dies, my go-to appliances, so stay tuned. Hey y'all, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and on this channel, we talk all things real whole grains from a biblical perspective. I teach you all about the reason why you should be milling your wheat, why you should be consuming whole grains, why you should be making it yourself, and I teach you how to do all these things and more. So first of all, I have to say happy Thanksgiving for whenever this video is coming out. And if you do not see this video right away because you were spending time with family and friends, that is a very good thing. But I still wanted to provide a video for y'all, especially with all the Black Friday sales going on. It's now gift giving time. And so maybe this will give you ideas of some kitchen appliances that will really help you in the kitchen like it does me. As I said in this video, I'm going to be sharing with y'all my favorite ride or die kitchen appliances that not only help me save time, they help me to multitask, they just make my job easier because again, I'm a large family mama. I stay at home, we homeschool, we homestead, I tutor my classical conversations, I have this YouTube channel, I help my husband with his business, all the things. Like, we're a busy family, and so I'm going to share with y'all my go-tos, the one that I will always and forevermore have. So all of these will be listed below in case you want them for your kitchen. And also do note, for any holiday sales going on right now, Black Friday sales, I got a list for you, grainsandgrit.com/holidays, link up here. So be sure to check that out for any sales currently going on because these are the best of the year. Okay, so first up, if you follow this channel long enough, you know my favorite thing that I will always have and forevermore and make sure my children have them are my grain mills. Yes, mills, plural, because I actually now have 4. Yes, I have 4 grain mills. I have the Nutrimill Harvest, which is my stone grind mill. I have my Wonder Mill, Miss Wanda, who has been with me from the beginning. She's the Wonder Mill Impact Mill. I now have the Impact, the brand new Nutrimill grain mill that is great as well. And then of course I have Mr. Junior. He is my Wonder Junior Deluxe grain mill. That is my manual mill. Now, do you need 4? No, you definitely don't. I know where I possibly don't need 4, but I will say for my uses, I do really like having an impact mill that's going to give me fine flour every single time without question. I also love having my stone grind mill because that allows me to get coarse all the way to fine grain. So that's what I use, especially now for my grits and my cream of wheat, those type of things. And then I also love having my manual mill for whenever the power goes out because I'm in Florida, y'all, and we got hit by some hurricanes this year and definitely needed that little guy. So I do recommend, I mean, really, you only need 1 grain mill, but you definitely need a grain mill to mill your grains. It is definitely very helpful and an appliance that I think every single person in America needs to have because that's how you maha, which that's another video for another day. And if you're curious to know all the questions that need to ask yourself of how do you choose a grain mill, got a video for you up here. The second ride or die appliance that I use almost on a daily basis in my house are my mixers. Yes, once again, mixers, plural, because I have 2. I have my Miss Betsy Bosch. She's my Bosch Universal Mixer Plus. And I also have the Nutrimill Artiste Miss Annie. Do you need 2 mixers? No, you do not need 2. But for me, I will say it is very handy to have 2 whenever I do huge, massive baking days, which I do as a large family. You know, I do these large baking days, and that comes in handy to have 2 mixers to really help me crank out even more. And I recently did a video comparing the Bosch Universal Mixer to the Artiste. You can check that out here. But I love these mixers. These really help me save time. And I say game changer for me, especially whenever I got my Bosch for the first time, because not only does that Bosch really knead the bread well, so does the Artiste. So my breads come out, but they can also handle that freshly milled flour. And the beauty of having a mixer is, especially whenever I'm milling my grains and baking all that dough, is I don't have to knead by hand and I can just set it to knead and walk away and do other things. So if you're able to get a mixer, I definitely recommend it because it really helps you save time in the kitchen and it just makes the job easier. Number 3 that I really like is my food processor. I have the Cuisinart 14 cup food processor, and I got her from Pleasant Hill Grain, and I love my food processor. I especially love her for grating cheese because I don't buy grated cheese. I only buy block cheese. And whenever I'm making things like pizza, stuff like that, the way that it grates it also shreds things. So cabbage for whenever I want to make coleslaw, and just really helps process. If you make jams, jellies, or really need to get you a food processor, that really helps, especially making my strawberry jams because it does so well. I love my food processor. I hesitated for a long time to get one, and now that I have one, I'm never going back. Number 4 that I really like is my Instant Pot. Now I have the Instant Pot Duo 8 quart, which most people have just the regular 6 quart. The beauty of the Instant Pot is that you can get these on Facebook Marketplace, no problem. So you can actually get these for pretty cheap. But I love my Instant Pot. And once again, I waited for years saying, nope, I'm not going to get one. I'm not going to get one. I don't need one. And then I got one about a year ago. Holy moly. I now use that so much, especially when it comes to my grains. So whenever I need to whip up some rice, some dried, cook up some dried beans, that's another appliance where I can just dump it in, fix it, forget it, walk away, and it does wonderfully. I mean, I absolutely love my Instant Pot. I also use it, of course, for meats, beans and rice meals, but it's especially handy for me being a stay-at-home mom because many times what I do is like a beans and rice type meal. I throw that in after breakfast in the morning, and then that makes a great lunch. And it's a kind of a no fuss thing, a one dish thing. And so it actually makes it very handy for me being home all the time. But I highly recommend it because it really makes easy work, especially cooking those grains like your rice and your beans. All right, so next up on the list, other appliance that I'm pretty sure all of us have already, but I need your help on this, and that is your crock pot or slow cooker. Crock pot is the brand, so technically it's a slow cooker. Now, the one that I've literally had since I got married, and it is old, and like the writing has come off. I've had to write a Sharpie on it. So I'm actually on the hunt for another slow cooker, but I'm a large family, so I would like an 8 or maybe even 10 quart one. So let me know in the comments below what you recommend. I mean, really, y'all, everyone knows I don't need to tell you why you need to have a slow cooker in your life. Now, get it for the size that you of a family. Frankly, I would like 2 because especially on our long homeschool co-op days, it is wonderful to just throw something in the morning and then set it and forget it. And then I have supper whenever I come home, and I don't have to fuss whenever I've had a long day at our Classical Conversations homeschool co-op because I'm a tutor there. And it's very involved. And if you know, you know. Shout out to all my CC moms. But again, slow cooker also makes it very easy with your grains as well. So things like oatmeal. I actually love making my granola in my crock pot. Yes, you can do that. And it's awesome. So that's another great thing to have. It kind of makes it a little bit easier for me to do than throwing it in the oven. So I just love my slow cooker, and you probably have one, but if you don't, you should get one. Number 6 favorite appliance is my waffle maker. This is another one that I got from Pleasant Hill Grain. I have the double waffle maker that makes those big Belgian waffles, and y'all, I love it. It makes making waffles so easy, especially with 100% freshly milled wheat, and it handles it perfectly. And I did a full review on my waffle maker and how to make waffles. You can check that out here. But waffles are who doesn't like waffles? Okay, if you don't, I'm sorry, but really, waffles are absolutely amazing. And another super easy recipe, especially if you're new to milling your own grains, but you need a waffle maker to do it. So I highly recommend that you have one if you love waffles, because kids love waffles. I love waffles. Everyone loves waffles. So it's just a great appliance to have. And I use it pretty much on a weekly basis. Number 7, and I think this does count as an appliance, I'm pretty sure, because those are my All-American canners. Yes, plural. Once again, I have 2. I have the All-American Miss Lady Silver. She's my larger one, and I can't remember the model name. I think it's 925, 926. I'll post it up here. So she's a little bit bigger. And then I also have my beautiful Miss Bonnie Blue. She's my beautiful model 921 All-American canner. And one of these days soon, I'm going to be remodeling this kitchen where I have a big, huge stove, cast iron grate, so then I can have both of them canning at the same time. I can't do that on my glass stove, but goals, dreams, but it's wonderful. And actually 2 reasons for why I love these canners. One, of course, is because they are the Cadillac, the best pressure canners out there. Super crazy well made in the USA. Pretty sure my great-great-great-grandchildren will inherit these canners. They will last that long. But a second reason that I have come to find that I really like it is they also work very well if you have a whole lot of stock that you need to cook up. I recently used Miss Bonnie Blue for a huge amount of venison stock. My husband got a deer and I wanted to make venison stock, but I didn't have a big enough pot for all the bones for the one deer that we have. Now we're in Florida, so we have smaller deer here. If you're up north or anywhere else but Florida, you may need, to break that up because your deer are larger. But that's another thing. And I recently did that and I was able to hold all of it in my 921 model, would have been able to do more in the larger model and it worked beautifully. I absolutely love it. We also use these, I use Lady Silver whenever we process chickens because she is larger. We put her on a propane burner and that's what we dunk our chickens in and our turkeys as well for whenever we're processing and you have to scald the feathers. So believe it or not, I use these for other than canners. They are multi-purpose. And so that's something to consider, but especially homesteader, you're needing a good pressure canner. I can't recommend the All-American canners enough. Now I do have an honorable mention, and that is an honorable mention because I do not use it on a regular basis, but when I need it, I need it. And that is my Zojirushi bread machine. So I've actually done 2 videos about that with just a regular yeast bread loaf and also the Ezekiel bread loaf. But the reason why I love my Zojirushi is most of the time I'm able to make bread myself. But there have been moments where I was sick, I've been down for some reason, and I have taught some of my kids to actually mill grains and bake it in the bread machine. And so whenever I'm down, or maybe at the end of the day, I just completely forgot to make bread and I need something for the morning, I can throw it into that bread machine and have bread the next morning. Or especially if I'm just down and I need one of my kids to make it, it's a bit easier to teach them to do the bread machine than it is to teach them to actually do the loaves. And they're able to do that. And so it's really, really helpful. I also would recommend the Zojirushi bread machine for those of you who may be just super busy, not able to be home all the time to bake your bread. And so it's like the crock pot or slow cooker, but for bread, okay? It makes your bread and it can sit there until you get home. It's especially great if you're only needing 1 loaf every now and then because it makes 1 loaf done. So especially for your smaller bake needs, you might be only 2 people. It's really great for that. So again, for me, because it only makes 1 loaf, it's not as practical for me because I'm always needing more than 1 loaf whenever I do make bread. But whenever I need it, I am so grateful that I have that bread machine. So there you have it, y'all. Those are my go-to appliances that, as in like, if they ever break, I will immediately replace them. Now these are also besides little things like my coffee maker, toaster oven, and of course my oven, my fridge, the kind of duds that I'm pretty sure we all have in our kitchens. And so let me know what your go-to appliances are in the description box below. Like I said, I've actually done several product reviews. So many of these I've done product reviews. So check out that playlist here. If you have a product in mind and you want to see my review about it, you can check that playlist here. And again, the big one is if you're just needing to know what grain mill that you would like to buy, you can check out that video here. So as always, I hope that this video was very helpful for y'all. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.